Okay, welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really plunging into just one source, but it's a really timely one. The latest AI Elevate newsletter from Dr. Paul Toote.
Right, and this newsletter, its whole purpose is basically helping you keep up with all the AI stuff happening, without getting totally swamped or feeling like you're falling behind.
Yeah, exactly. And our job today, our mission, is sort of to be your guides through this specific edition. We want to pull out the really crucial insights, maybe some surprising bits, and definitely the practical stuff for you.
Think of it like we're highlighting the key landmarks on a map that's, well, changing really fast.
Mm-hmm.
We've read through it, picked out what seems most important, and we'll try to piece it together for you. And the first thing, honestly, that leaps out, the big takeaway Dr. Toote starts with, it's a pretty eye-opening warning about jobs.
It really is. It's from Dario Amodei. He's the CEO of Anthropic, a big name in AI labs.
Mm-hmm.
And his warning is, well, it's stark. He's basically forecasting that in just 5 years, AI could make like half up to 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs redundant.
50%.
Yeah.
Wow. And these are often the jobs that are, the first step on the ladder, right?
Exactly. Stepping stones. The newsletter lists examples, things like customer support, data entry, junior roles in finance, legal review, even a lot of content creation jobs, the kind of foundational roles.
Yeah, the starting points for so many careers.
Yeah.
And 5 years. That feels incredibly quick for that kind of disruption. Does the newsletter get into how? Is it just simple automation?
Well, it seems like it's more than that. It's not just automating, say, filling out a form.
Okay.
The AI models are getting good at complex stuff, understanding information, drafting emails or reports, doing initial analysis, even creating content that, used to take a human quite a bit of time and skill.
Right. So it's not just speeding up a task, it's potentially doing the whole function of that entry-level job.
Yep.
Where the main thing is processing info and creating standard outputs.
That seems to be the idea. It's replicating the core function, not just assisting with parts of it.
Okay, that's a key difference.
Yeah.
And Amodei, he's not just saying watch out, is he? He's calling for action.
Definitely. The newsletter emphasizes his point about needing, urgent, widespread reskilling and boosting AI literacy for everyone, plus real collaboration. Industry, government, schools, all working together.
And he's saying this isn't some far-off future thing.
No, not at all. Dr. Toote quotes him saying something like, the changes, they aren't hypothetical anymore. They're already underway.
Right. So the impact is starting now.
Yeah.
It's not waiting for some magic future AI. The capability is here.
Yeah. So the core message Dr. Toote is pulling out here is it's less about jobs just changing and more about some jobs, especially those entry ones, potentially being erased.
Which leads right into the what this means for you part. The newsletter is pretty blunt. You need to learn how to work with AI now.
Collaborate with it.
Exactly. Collaborate. Leverage it. Because waiting, that means risking getting left behind as the ground shifts.
Yeah.
And that applies if you're in one of those roles, or if you manage people in them, or if you're just starting out.
It's a sobering picture of the job market for sure. But, these changes are fueled by some pretty amazing technical leaps, right? Some stuff that sounds almost, futuristic.
Oh, absolutely. Which takes us from the job market to the real cutting edge. The newsletter highlights something from Sakana AI over in Tokyo. It's called the Darwin-Goodall machine.
The Darwin-Goodall machine. Okay, that name alone, what is it?
So think of it like a new kind AI agent. It's designed to improve itself. It's inspired by evolution and logic principles. But the really wild part is it can actually look at its own code and rewrite it.
Wait, rewrite its own code. So the AI is literally upgrading itself, evolving.
That's the core idea, yeah. It makes itself better over time without needing human developers constantly tweaking it for every little improvement. And the newsletter says this self-improvement helps it beat static AI models, especially on tricky things like long-term planning, where AI has often struggled. It learns, it adapts, it gets better by itself.
Okay, that feels like a massive step. The implication is AI is starting to evolve independently. Not just a tool we program, but something that can improve in ways we might not even predict.
That's the big implication. And for you, listening, it means get ready for tools that aren't fixed. They could change, get smarter, develop new skills, maybe even overnight, because the AI itself is tinkering with its own engine.
That's kind of mind-bending, and the pace just keeps accelerating. It feels like the AIs are now helping themselves accelerate.
Right. And speaking of acceleration, the newsletter also touches on the global competition side of things in its key developments.
Ah, yeah. Like who's building the best models?
Exactly. It mentions DeepSeek's R1 model, how it jumped up to #3 on a big global AI benchmark after an update.
Okay.
Apparently, it's particularly strong in logic and reasoning tests, basically how well the AI understands and works with information.
So it's not just about size, it's about being smarter, more capable.
Precisely. And Dr. Toote sees this as a sign of China's growing strength in developing these foundational AI technologies. It's a real global race.
Right. And while that sounds like high-level competition, the newsletter connects it back to the listener, right? What's the takeaway for us?
Yeah, the practical takeaway is competition usually means faster innovation for everyone.
Yeah.
So expect the pace to stay high and expect more diverse, powerful AI tools becoming available to you sooner. More options, basically.
Okay, that makes sense. More competition, faster progress, better tools for us eventually.
Exactly. And speaking of tools, the newsletter then pivots from that cutting-edge research to how AI is actually being used now and how the tools we might already use are evolving super fast.
Like those driverless trucks you mentioned, that definitely caught my eye.
Yeah. Aurora Innovation, they're running autonomous semis commercially now on I-45 between Dallas and Houston.
Commercially, so not just tests.
Nope. Operational freight trucks running 24/7 using sensors, real-time navigation, the whole deal.
That feels like a really concrete example. It's not just office jobs, it's physical logistics, the whole supply chain potentially being reshaped.
It shows how fast things are moving from lab to, well, the highway.
Yeah.
And then the newsletter gets into updates for tools maybe you're already using or could be soon, like Google's Gemini.
Okay, Gemini. What's new there, according to the newsletter?
It's getting camera and screen sharing features for live interactions.
Camera and screen sharing. How does that change things?
Well, it makes it way more interactive, more collaborative, right?
Right.
Instead of just typing a problem, you can actually show Gemini what you're looking at.
Ah, okay. Like point your camera at something or share your screen if you're stuck on software.
Exactly. Get real-time feedback on visual stuff. The newsletter kind of frames it as Gemini moving from just an assistant you type at to more of an interactive partner you work with.
A partner AI. I like that framing. That's a different way to think about it. What about Elon Musk's Grok?
So Grok is rolling out its live search feature. And this is pretty significant.
Why is that?
Because it gives Grok access to real-time web data. It mixes current info right into its answers, alongside its usual language model stuff.
So it's not stuck in the past based on its training data. It can tell you about news breaking right now, or live events.
That's the idea. Real-time information access sets a new benchmark, really. For you, it means you could use Grok to get instant insights on fast-moving situations. Could be a real edge.
Yeah, I can see that being incredibly useful. What about just everyday web browsing? Any AI help there mentioned?
The newsletter talks about Opera's AI-enhanced browser. It's adding things like instant summaries of web pages.
Oh, that's handy.
Yeah, and also using AI to sort of predict where you might want to go next based on how you're browsing.
How does that help practically?
It just makes research faster. Right?
Yeah.
Get the main points of a long article instantly. And maybe the browser guides you more efficiently to what you're actually looking for, less clicking around. It's about streamlining how you deal with all the information online.
Okay, so tools getting smarter, faster, more integrated. From self-evolving AI to real-time search to better browsing. And the newsletter mentioned a few other quick examples too, just to show the breadth.
Right. Just briefly, it touched on things like Anthropic's Claude AI working with humans to write blog posts. So like human AI publishing teams.
Interesting.
And Google's SignGemma project that's working on real-time translation from American Sign Language to English. Huge potential for accessibility.
Wow. Okay, so from content to accessibility, it really is spreading everywhere. But with all this power, all this speed, there've got to be some big ethical questions, legal issues popping up.
Oh, definitely. And the newsletter flags a really important legal development in the key development section. It's about a lawsuit involving Character.ai.
Character.ai, the chatbot platform. What happened?
A judge made a ruling, basically saying the company could potentially be held liable in a tragic case involving a teen suicide, where interactions with the AI chatbot were alleged to be a factor.
Wow, that's incredibly serious and significant for the industry, I imagine.
Hugely significant. As the newsletter points out, this ruling could really start to shape how the legal system thinks about AI responsibility, accountability when these tools might cause harm.
So for the people building these AIs, and even for us using them, what's the takeaway from a case like that?
Well, it really hammers home that the law is starting to grapple with this stuff, even if it's slowly. And it reinforces the message Dr. Toote includes. Thinking about ethics, building in safeguards, being transparent, that's not just nice to have anymore. It's becoming critical, maybe even a legal necessity. We all need to be mindful of the impact.
Right. Okay, so we've hit the job impacts, the amazing tech advances like self-evolving AI, the practical tools getting better daily, and these crucial legal and ethical points. It's a lot. But the AI Elevate newsletter itself tries to help people process this, right? It offers resources.
It absolutely does. Dr. Toote includes sections specifically to help you build skills and connect.
And importantly, free resources. Tell us about those.
Okay, first up, there's a free AI prompting guide for professionals.
Prompting. That's so key, right? Learning how to ask the AI the right way.
Exactly. It's about getting better results from these tools for actual work tasks. So a guide focused on professional prompting. Super practical.
Definitely need that.
What else?
For folks maybe just starting out, or if you need to help your team get up to speed, there's also a free AI for Beginners online course mentioned. Gives you that solid foundation.
Okay, good. Foundational knowledge is crucial too. And didn't the newsletter have something called a prompt playground?
Yeah. It gives concrete examples of how to use prompts. Like the one in this issue showed how you could ask an AI to act like a workforce strategist.
Okay.
And create, say, a 5-point plan for a recent grad to stay employable over the next decade, considering all the job market stuff we talked about.
That's a brilliant example. It shows how you use AI for real strategic thinking, not just simple tasks.
Right. And it's not just about reading. The newsletter trying to get you involved. There's a quiz corner, like testing if you remember who made the Darwin-Gödel machine.
And a community challenge, maybe asking readers to share how their teams are adapting to AI. It encourages actually thinking about it and sharing ideas.
So it's meant to be interactive, not just passive consumption. And people can connect with Dr. Toote himself.
Yes, the newsletter encourages connecting with him on LinkedIn. That's where it's published. And it mentions he's available for speaking, seminars, workshops. He definitely invites people to reach out.
That's great access. So if you want to dive deeper yourself, definitely find Dr. Paul Toote on LinkedIn and subscribe to the AI Elevate newsletter there. And those free resources, you'll want that prompting guide. Go to www.aitips4all.com/free AI prompting guide.
Let's spell that out maybe. AITIPS, the number 4ALL.com/free AI prompting guide.
Perfect. Yeah. www.atips4all.com/free AI prompting guide. Seriously, getting good at prompting are probably one of the most valuable things you can do right now.
Totally agree.
So yeah, check out the newsletter, subscribe, share it with people you know who need to keep up, leave comments. Dr. Toote encourages the interaction. And remember, he is available for speaking and workshops if your organization is navigating these changes.
Right. And looking back at this one newsletter issue, it really does pack a punch. You get the stark job market forecast, the mind-blowing tech, like self-evolving AI.
Yeah, the practical tools like Gemini and Grok getting new powers.
And those critical legal and ethical boundaries starting to form. It's a snapshot of a world changing incredibly fast.
It really underlines that message. This isn't gradual anymore. It feels like a fundamental shift, and it's happening right now.
It does. And given all that the job shifts, the self-improving AI, the real-time info tools, the ethical tightropes, it really brings up a crucial question for everyone listening.
Right. So thinking about everything we just unpacked, this landscape that's shifting so fast, tools getting more powerful, more autonomous, what does this all mean for you? What's the single most important skill or area of knowledge for you to focus on developing right now to really navigate what's coming?
That's the challenge, isn't it? Finding that focus.
It really is something to definitely think about. And remember, all these insights came from our deep dive into the AI Elevate newsletter by Dr. Paul Toote. Thanks for joining us.